Could I just ask, anyone here knows a modern-day terrorist? Please raise your hand. No? Anyone wants to say hello to a modern-day terrorist? Raise your hand. Okay. Hi Henning. My name is Ole. This is what a modern-day terrorist looks like. I do not step on ants. I'm kind to animals. I do not hit children. I'm being tracked by security forces. I'm being threatened by arrest. I've been warned to come here. I had death threats about going to Norway. Why? Why? I'm a gentle person. The only thing I want, love, compassion, forgiveness, and regain balance in the universe. Get Mother Earth back in beauty, the way she's designed this absolute stunning planet we're living on. Why am someone like me being targeted? Why is some beautiful person like Kevin Barrett, there's another terrorist for him, and he is a Muslim if you didn't know it, so you should fear him even more than me. I'm not kidding you. That is what they look like. This is what they look like. This is the official story of a terrorist. I would say there might be a different version. So, I believe in courage. I am a normal person that at times gets shit scared, because when you are a modern day terrorist who just looks for truth, the truth is the thing they fear, you get yourself into some very, very odd minefields. And the tricky thing is, you do not know if you stepped on a mine until it's too late. Many, many beautiful people have gone before me. Many, many beautiful people are no longer here. One of them, this stunning lady, Brownie, which unfortunately I never got to meet. I was in touch with her before she died. And she took the step before I was able to meet her, which is a sadness in my life, because I sure would have loved to meet her. I mean, this is the type of human beings that really show the way. Really, these are the people, the real heroes. They do not look like James Bond. They look like Rauni. They look like Kevin. They look like Henning, sorry. And
you look like James Brown.
Like James Brown. Well, I can do the steps, you know. And so, I believe in courage. A few years ago, I was shitting myself. The worst thing I could even think about was to stand up and give a speech at a birthday or something like that. That was the thing that freaked me out. I was sweating, shaking, all of these things. And here I am in front of you. So, what I do believe with courage is that it's like there's something in the universe that rewards courage. If you have the courage to listen to your heart and follow that, amazing thing happens. Shit scary, I'm not saying it's not, but amazing thing happens. And so the question is, what am I doing here? I was so surprised when I got the invitation here, because mind control is not the thing that I'm focused on, even though a lot of the things that I'm digging into totally connects with this. So thank you so much for inviting me. And also, if we can join this tour together, I have no idea what I'm going to say the next 30, 40 minutes. Because I believe in courage. I believe this is the first time I improvise. And so let's see where it goes. Please feel free. Anyone who gets bored to tears, leave, have a coffee, take your time out, and so on. So, James Brown is now about to take the jump. I was called Billy Bob Stinker, by the way, a week ago at the open mine in Copenhagen, so I keep changing names. But how many of you know the meaning of the word government? Government. You know the word government, yeah? It comes from the word Latin, and it means governmente, that is, control the mind. You change it around, it's mind control. Okay, you got the word Regierung, I think that's the German name. It's the Swedish, Norwegian, Danish name for government as well. It means ruling, the rulers. I would say there's a possibility that something has gone a bit strange, something has gone out of the natural way that it was supposed to be. Because as far as I know, the government is there to serve us, to do good for us. And here we are suddenly in a situation where it feels like they are the ones deciding and controlling us. So something along the way has gone totally bad or strange. And I would say a lot has to do with us. Because over many, many years, an elite few, or at least they call themselves the elite, it goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, a few a group that have selected themselves saying, we're so much better than the rest of you, useless eaters, we, the elite. We will control you and you will be our slaves. So the question is, if they're few and we are many, how do they do it? How do they do it? If I told you, everybody, get out, would you do it? Not really, if you didn't really respect me. So how can I, one, get all of you to do what I do? What I want you to do, not what you want to do. The answer to that question is through fear. If I scare the living bejesus out of you, you will leave. Especially if I put a bomb here or something like that, you will freak out and leave the area. And I, who put the bomb there, will be here, controlling the movement of you. Now, the old Romans, they knew how to do this because they had a whole Roman Empire to rule, and they were there having a party in Rome, so how could they do it? They came up with a few templates. They're not very many, but very, very good to become aware of. Divide and conquer, that's a good one. How do they do that? Well, you interfere in our relationships. You say, the problem isn't me who's trying to rule you, the problem is not you either, it's the other one. And the way to conquer it over the hundreds of years, hundreds and hundreds, have been different from different times. Now, when I grew up, I was very interested in the Wild West. Okay, in the Wild West, it was the Indians. They were the bad guys. They scalped people. They were monsters. Okay, then I became more and more interested in the Second World War to start with. And in the Second World War to start with, people from countries like somewhere in Asia, Chinese, Japanese, they were monsters. They could torture people like no one else. We should fear them. Then the longer you got in the Second World War, suddenly, I don't know, have we got any Germans here? I certainly hope so. You were the monsters. Okay, and I grew up in a family that was very much involved in the Danish resistance movement against you. This body was born in Denmark. I left when I was 8 years to Sweden. And then, like they said, I was a journalist. I did about 12 years where on my own, together with a few other people, were really digging deep into the assassination of the Swedish Prime Minister, which ended with 2 of my friends being murdered, very tragically, very sad, and also me getting a visit that freaked the living bejesus out of me. So we decided me and my sweetheart, to say, we're out of here. So we left for Spain, and I've been living there happily ever after. That's 15 years now. But anyway, I was brought up with believing that Germans were monsters. If I listened to my grandfather, his sisters, they hated you. They hated you because you were monsters. You came and attacked this wonderful, pure little country called Denmark. You horrible monsters. and so on. So I grew up thinking, monsters, monsters, everybody is a Nazi. Then I started meeting first Asian people, really nice, I didn't get that one. I mean, I didn't even see them torture anyone nearby. Then after a while I started meeting Germans as well. And even though you have a bit of a strange accent when you speak English, most of you are so nice. Really confusing, because how can you, there were such monsters just a few years ago. I mean, nowadays it's like your fathers, mothers, these type of things. These are the monsters, if you didn't know. Grandmother, oh my God, and so on. How is that possible? How is that possible? What was it that made me think that you were monsters? And I'm sure you were told somebody else was the monsters, and so on, and so on. So, by the way, I'm a Jew hater. I've been called an anti-Semite. I've been called a lot of things. I was a speaker at the Amsterdam Open Mind Conference, where I had raised some questions about the Holocaust. The thing is, I must say, I love the truth. I'm in love with the truth. Whatever the truth is, it is always pure, simple. It fears no investigation, and you don't need to have a good memory either to remember the truth. Then you have things like conspiracies. I'm not talking about conspiracy theories. That's a term that was created after the JFK assassination to point out and totally whatever you call it, people that were really looking for the truth. As soon as they started looking for the real truth, it wasn't that you were a conspiracy searcher, you were conspiracy theories. As soon as you add the word theory, there's a doubt. And then on with the tinfoil hat and make a joke of the whole thing, and you could get rid of the critics. In this country, in this area of the world, you're allowed to speak about anything, you're allowed to raise questions, except the Holocaust. And for me, it's like, especially in this country, you should be interested in finding out the truth, because you're the one that are being accused of it. And here is the country where if I continue speaking like this, if I continue going into some details, I will get arrested. Maybe I will get arrested after this. Voltaire, who was a French philosopher, he said a few hundred years ago, he said, if you want to find out who controls you, find out who you are not allowed to criticize. The thing is, I think we should be able to ask questions about anything. Anything. And like this open mind in Amsterdam, as far as I know, that is the capital in the world where you can walk down the street with your kids on a Sunday afternoon, look at prostitutes in the window while having a joint. That is a city that should welcome, at least not judge, people for having different kind of views, I think. So we came there. It was me, Ken O'Keefe, Christopher Bollin, Ian Crane from England, Frank Rasmussen from Denmark, and so on. We came there. I was not going to speak anything about the Holocaust, anything like that. I came in peace. I came to be part of healing. Let the truth out there about many different things. Nothing against Jews, religions, Holocaust, Second World War, nothing like that. And in media, in the Dutch media, suddenly there was this massive campaign calling us anti-Semites, Jew haters, all of these things. I don't even know a Jew as far as I know, so it's not that easy for me to hate one. And the only thing I was doing was putting a question mark. So, New World Order, somebody said nice world order. It's the New World Order in some countries. In some countries the New World Order is very brutal. In other countries, I would say nice world order is the name that fits. It's so nice. Sweden is the perfect example. It is so nice. The lawns are cut. The houses are fixed, people are beautiful, well-trained, exercised, they've got all the latest equipment, gadgets, all of these things. You look at the surface, my God, it's a postcard. And then you start scratching a little bit. Or in Holland, it was like the Truman Show. Everything was just perfect. Even the dogs barked like really soft. What? It was like beautiful. And then we come and say, hello, scratch, scratch. And suddenly the police was there. I mean, come on. There was this female politician, a brave woman, brave, because she said, that sounds interesting. Maybe I'm going to go and go to this conference. She was told to shut up for 2 years. She was not allowed to talk to the press. She's not allowed to this very day to talk to the press just because she mentioned that she wanted to go to this conference. Totally gagged. She would lose her job if she even went there. I say, this woman, please join us. Maybe we're full of crap. You can make up your own mind, you know. Maybe you will be totally bored. Please leave. Or maybe there will be something of interest. What is the danger? Why this big boom against it? You're talking about an enigma. Why these incredible studies you're doing, why are they not allowed? I mean, you have to be totally brain dead not to see that this is so dangerous for all of us. And it's just like, I've been looking into many false flag operations, top assassinations and so on. And it's the same there. There is like a conspiracy. A conspiracy is when more than one person conspires to do something criminal against the rest of us. That is by law a conspiracy. Okay. So I would say very many times when you look at these assassinations or terror acts, it's almost like there's a double conspiracy. There's the official one, the murder conspiracy, and then there's the conspiracy of silence. It's the silence. It's like you go there and you will be told it was the patsy, it was the patsy, it was the patsy, it was the patsy, it was the patsy. Anyone that talks about something else, Henning Witte here is a true example of, with the Estonia catastrophe here, the official story, or it's just silence. Shut up. That is the message. Any book that is published that says anything except the official story will be just met with silence. Nobody will make book reviews. They won't sell at all. And so on, and so on, and so on. I just want to promote myself a little bit. This is my baby. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one, these two, has taken me 25 years to get published. Okay, who published it? Did I have possibilities to get it published? Yes. Was they shut down? Yes. Was I messed around with? Yes. Was I threatened? Yes. Is it published? Yes. It's on Amazon now if you would like to have a look. So what's going on? What is going on? Why are we having all of these things? Why are we having conferences like this? It's an absolute waste of time when you think of it, because we shouldn't be in this position. You claim that you are victims of mind control. I say, possibly, for sure. I have no idea about this area, but I do know a lot surrounding these areas as well, because some of the people that I nowadays call my friends are former CIA operatives, black ops, these type of people, and they talk a lot about mind control. They do indeed. So I know Chip Tatum, a friend of mine, who he was, for 25 years, he was a deep cover CIA agent. He was a black op assassin. I mean, that is somebody who kills people. He was a Night Stalker pilot. That's the black helicopter, blah, 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 blah. He was one of the pilots in the Iran-Contras scandal, flying weapons out, drugs in, received by Bill Clinton and George Bush Sr. personally in Mena, Arkansas, among others. He was also the commander of an ultra-secret hit team called Pegasus. which was under the direct control of George Bush Sr. I mean, this is the closest to a real-life James Bond you get. Kevin knows him as well. He's a man that turned whistleblower and has now, I would say, done everything he can to redeem himself, because he has done a lot of awful, awful stuff, and is now doing everything he can to expose. And he's a great help for people like myself, because it's through him that a lot of this information can come out. We would never ever find out it from the inside without people with great courage like him, and so on. So, divide and conquer. If you didn't know it, if you got a different color, skin, you're not like me. If you got a different religion, you're not like me. I don't like you. If you're Hindu, sorry, you're out. If you're Catholic, nope. If you're a Sikh, get away. Black, oh my God. Muslim, sort of, like this. That's how they do it. They get in between us so that we will not see the divine in each other. That we will not see, my God, you're a beautiful human being. It's called humankind. Kind. We are kind to start with. Look at children when they grow up. They don't kick dogs if they're not messed up. They know in their heart what is the right thing to do. You know in your heart what is the right thing to do. We're so beautifully set up that in our heart we have this voice. It's very quiet, so sometimes you need to be quiet to hear it. But it will tell you right from wrong. You know inside yourself, that was not too good. Boom, I'll do it again. Nope, didn't feel good. You can drink, you can put drugs in yourself, all of these things, so you don't hear that voice, but the voice is still there. You cannot get away from it. It will tell you. I spoke to Chip once about assassins. I mean, these are people killing people, which is what he's been around his whole adult life. Because I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand the mindset of these so-called psychopaths. I don't understand the mindset of people that are filling the air above Berlin with chemtrails. I don't know if you noticed this blue, wonderful sky. We are just being hammered here with chemtrails. I noticed loads today. I noticed loads over Oslo yesterday. I noticed loads over Stockholm a few days ago, and I noticed loads over Copenhagen the day before. And people are like, please turn off your car, you're not allowed to let the engine run more than 30 seconds or something like that without using it. That's great. At the same time, there's tons of chemicals coming down from above. It's like, how blind are we? I don't get it. But apparently we are. And people say like, why don't they respect us? How can they do these things? Well, would you respect us if we were that brain dead that they can get away with these type of things? I mean, you really need to have an IQ of like 10. That is when you can tell the difference between cold and hot water. It's almost on that level for someone to get away with things like this, if it's not because we are mind controlled. How are they able to do this? If you try to do a thing like that, would never do it. You would never be able to get away with it. One of the ways I would say is through this black box you have in front of you. This bomb that is just bombarding us all the time. I would like to say that black box, I look upon it like a sewage, an open sewage, and it's coming right into your living room, to your children, to you. And they're using this because media is one of the areas that they totally focused on for a long time. Media, film, music, all of these things. Because that is the way to get to your subconscious. It's not called TV programs for nothing. Programs. And it's through this box that it just comes pouring at us. And when you see the agenda behind these people, it's like, oh my God. If you knew that there was a psychopath out there who really wanted to do you in many ways, to really hurt you, and the way into your home was through this black box, would you have it on? Would you just keep it on in the background? Would you put your kids in front of it as a what do you call it, babysitter? I would say not. But when you see the mindset of the people behind the so-called New World Order, which is very much, I would say, behind all of these things, that is what they're trying to do. They're trying to totally divert our attention away from what's going on, so we go into mode where they can just carry on. I know there's a great, very great radio host in the States. He's called Mike Williams. He's got a program called The Sage of Quiet Radio. He's also a hypnosis specialist. And I asked him a lot about how do they do it. And he said one of the things is when you look at the news and many other programs like that, mostly news programs, what they do is you've got this circle, like often a globe that rotates like this. That is the thing that puts your brain into like a mode. And then very often they have like a text ticker going, like NASDAQ 4.2 or whatever it is. I mean, who is interested in these numbers? Do you know anyone? But that is the thing that puts your eyes into like a tick, 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 and that is the veggie mode. When you start that circling, this one, your brain goes into mode, and that is where you're receptive, according to him. He also says blue and red, these colors, depending on what mode they want to get you in. And once you're in the veggie mode, that's when they hit you. Do they do it in a subtle way? I would say no. So, Coca-Cola, you know the drink? Your mind, that's your brain here. The way to do it, how to get your mind to want a Coca-Cola, they do it like this. Coca-Cola. Your head. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Repetition, 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 repetition. The more times you see Coca-Cola, 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 I'm so thirsty, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. But in this area, what they do is they use the same names. So when you're in veggie mode, once again, that one, if you haven't noticed, especially women see this in us, how the remote suddenly is the most interesting thing in the world. What they do is they have these keywords. I'm not saying that the presenters of news presenters, that they know about this. They are just reading from teleprompters and so on. But they keep repeating, if you haven't noticed, terror, terror, Muslim, terror, Islam, terror, terror, Muslim, fear, criminals, fear, fear, terror, murder. It's not that there are variations of the words, like terror attack, what should we try next time? No, we do it the same. Terror, 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 terror. Like this. Listen. You put on the news and count. Terror, terror, bomb, bomb, terror, terror, fear, scare, murder, rape, plunder. And this thing with the boogeyman, because they always want something outside to be the enemy, not them. It's always out there. And this has been used over the decades. It's been like in trends. Around the Second World War, we're back to the Asian. Whoa! Then, Cold War, in came the Russians, East German, Bulgarians, East Germans. If you didn't know monsters, there's monsters for you. We should fear them. So during the Cold War, that was the trend. Then came the problem when the wall came down. Because suddenly they couldn't blame them anymore, saying, ooh, the threat is over there. So Reagan did a try, he did the alien one. The outer threat from aliens, guys. Nobody really bought that. So we need to update, we need to upgrade. What are we going to come up with? What are we going to come up with? Muslims. Here comes Muslim terrorist. I will now demonstrate what a Muslim terrorist looks like. He's got big eyebrows, very black eyes, maybe a mustache, dark skin. He comes from a country nobody knows where it is from because they can't even pronounce the name of it. His name will always be Abdul Karim Karumkara or something like that, from a town called Skabrumskarit, and he will be an extremist. His intention is to totally blow up the world, totally populate the whole world with Muslim children, and cut your throat when you're asleep. But he loves bombs, by the way. So they did that for a long time, and we bought it. We loved that one. So I just pity anyone who was named Abdul or Muhammad, had dark skin, a mustache, black eyes, because my God, have they been mangled. Totally not true. Totally not true. I've looked into hundreds of so-called terror acts. Hundreds. I tell you, I have devoted years trying to track these Muslim terrorists down and identify who they were. To this very day, I hereby swear by, if there was a Bible, I do not think there is such a thing as a real terrorist, the way we've been portrayed. Not one single time has he looked like Muhammad Abdul Karim Karumkara. Not one. What I have found are patsies again and again and again being pointed out. It was him, it was him, it was him, it was him. Because he's an extremist, he's a Muslim, Islam, terror, Muslim, terror. That I have found many, many times. Funded, trained, equipped by the FBI if it's in the States. I'm getting a little confused here. FBI, weren't they there to protect us? I would like to change the wordings of companies like CIA and FBI and the White House and so on, because I think with the appropriate names, it will start to make more sense. So in my world, the CIA, that's for Cocaine Import Agency because it's for hire. Any company who wants a military coup or who wants the local population killed or destroyed or moved away, go for the CIA. They will help you. They're there to serve you if you got the dough to pay for it. Cocaine Import Agency. The FBI, there to help you. Wrong answer. I call them fraud, bribery, and intimidation. This is what they do. Dear J. Edgar Hoover, he spent his whole career, most of the time, focusing on finding things to grab people by the balls so that people in power positions, if they started saying, listen, I'm out, this is not on, they said, excuse me, before you become a whistleblower, would you mind just coming with me? We've got a little video for you to see. And that's where all of these sex parties, sex scandals, all of these things were filmed. This is where we see globally there's coming up to the surface more and more and more of these pedophile gangs, all of these things involved in government layers and power positions and so on. It's coming up to the surface now, it's cracking down, but it's been there for generations. They had these sex parties for people, you know, when they came up to a certain level in society. Please join us, you're one of the chosen ones, join the brothers. We have great parties, we can help each other, so we got special handshakes, all of these things. Join us. And of course, here's a prostitute or two, some drugs, don't worry, it's just for, have some good times. Sorry about them being a bit young, don't worry, you get used to it. And then, while they're there, everything is being filmed, everything is being recorded. And then when you want to become a whistleblower, sorry, not on. It will be used against you. And I believe this is one of the reasons of the second type of conspiracy we were talking about, the silence. The silence. So Berlin, I have been here before. In 1984, I should have looked up a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but instead I bought an old bicycle and I went from Sweden. I did not know what I was doing. I was I felt something in my heart saying, time to go, time to meet life, see what it's all about. So I bought an old bicycle for 50 euros and I left alone for Had no idea. I just took it and I went Sweden, Denmark, I went through Germany, Austria, Yugoslavia, Greece. And then I didn't know where to continue because I didn't know where I was going. I was just following this one, pointing wherever. And somehow I ended up in the middle of the war in Iran. This was 84. It was one of the absolute worst years for the Iranian population, where it was in the middle of the war. There were bombing going on all the time. There were roadblocks, soldiers, everything. People were being arrested, pulled off trucks, executions, mass executions, terror, absolute terror. And I, of course, was being informed that the Iranians are crazy Muslims. They run around screaming Allah Akbar while killing each other. So I was quite nervous entering the country, also because they didn't allow foreigners in at all. And I was also asking myself, what the hell am I doing here? I was totally alone, and a normal logic brain would say, get the hell out. I'm sorry for my language, but that was what my brain said. Get out, what are you doing? But something in my heart said, go, go, go. That silent voice. So I went in there without knowing what was waiting for me, especially since I was in a country full of extremists, Muslim extremists that only wanted to kill me and blow me up. Surprise, surprise, what didn't I meet? I met the most beautiful people in an extremely difficult situation. I mean, they were being hammered from all different directions. The finances were on bottom, everything, everybody was poor, they were being threatened, they were being tortured, many of them, there were people, families were being crushed, you know, brothers against brothers, all of these things. So in this very, very extreme situation, what did they do? They totally opened their home to me. They totally shared whatever they had in a way that just blew me away. It was some of the most horrific months of my life and some of the absolute most beautiful months of my life. And to me it felt like, it was almost like I grew up with a lot of walls, like concrete walls inside of me. And then Sweden was just too soft to get rid of them. So I needed to swallow like a stick of dynamite to boom from the inside. Tehran during the war did that. And I started loving these people that I met down there. I mean, I loved them. Then one of them got murdered, and his brother really feared for his life, thinking that he was on the line. So I decided I will do everything I can to help him. So I did that. I sold whatever I had in Sweden, got the money transferred. We got hold of fake passport, fake papers, all of these. This was scary times, I tell you, because in these times, well, you know, you have had the wall here, you have had soldiers, you have had like people telling you, like secret agents, you know, in this area, with all the Stasi and all of these things that was going on, you know how terrifying it is. Anyway, I just felt in my heart, this I need to do. So we managed to get, I went together with him, with my best friend, that's the brother of the man that was murdered. And we managed to get out of Tehran to Moscow, and then from Moscow we got here. So this was when the wall was still here. We came through Checkpoint Charlie because we were only allowed to be a few hours in East Berlin, then we needed to get back all across. It was an absolute horror to get there with fake papers and these things. And then we spent the night, it was I think 26 below zero, something like that. We were freezing our butts off on a park bench right very close here to this place. And in the morning, my friend, he said, please, I'm hungry, can I have something to eat? What did they have? I said, I don't know, I'm not sure. And so I went to buy and I ordered roll mops. Do you know what roll mops is? We had no idea. Oh God, it was awful. There was like some kind of dead fish on the road. And my Iranian friend was like, "Are you trying to poison me?" So we went to this, it was like an Austrian film festival here in Berlin, because we had to spend 18 hours here before we could get back, or 12, I can't remember. So we were eating rollmops and looking at Austrian films that we didn't understand. So anyway, after that we managed to get to Sweden. The police took him, wanted to deport him, we stopped that. Then in the end we managed to get him asylum. And then we got 7 other people out as well. So why am I telling you this? I have no idea, except for rollmops. That is a dear memory in my life. But I would say that we are in a location in the world that shows that change is possible. Because when I was here in '84, nobody believed that the wall could come down. It was like impossible. That will not change. That will not change. And then a few years later, boom, it changed. The wall came down. I could not wait. I got on my motorbike. It was the beginning of November, freezing cold. I went down here. Thank you. I went down here on the motorbike. I was totally covered in ice. I just wanted to be here when it happened. So you showed the rest of the world that it is possible, even if it's made of concrete with bulletproof whatever, and mines and dogs and soldiers that will kill you, it is possible. So just because things look difficult at this point in time, don't worry. Do not worry. I would very much like to finish with a prayer, because I think hate is not the way out. Violence is not the way out. They want us to become violent. They want us, it's like they're poking us with a stick. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Because violence is their language. Military force is their language. They are just waiting to crush us if we do that. So the way to get the power back instead is to go totally non-violent, start caring about each other, on contrary to what they want. They want to divide us. I say, let's love each other. Let's see each other as brothers and sisters. Don't care about color, race, religion, whatever. That is a way to move against them or transcend this whole thing. And people ask me, how can I protect myself against mind control, these type of things? I've been, apparently according to experts, there were scalar weapons used against me. I was hit with something, I fainted, I knocked my head in the ground, whatever. How do you protect yourself? I do not know. But what I do know is that if you fill your heart with gratitude, really, it's not enough to just think it, but feel it. The more you feel it, the gratitude for things in your life, we all have so much to be grateful for. The higher the frequency of you. And they go on a very, very low frequency. And I would say it's by raising the awareness, your frequency of love, the highest frequency in the universe, the harder it is for them to get to you. So the prayer, I'm not a religious person, but I love this one. It goes like this. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May everyone, and especially the ones who hurt us, be filled with peace and joy, love and light. Victory to that light. We all need to heal. They need to heal as well, because otherwise this whole thing will just continue. And with that, I say thank you for your patience. I didn't see a lot of people leave, so thank you for that. I feel a lot of pain in this room. I've learned a lot. I think I've learned more than any one of you about these things because I did not know. One of the things I've learned is that I have been a victim of this as well, because every single thing except for the voices in the head I've experienced in my life. I've had attacks that felt like I was stabbed by a knife. I had to sit up for a whole week, couldn't sleep or anything. I had sitting up sleeping. I went to the doctors, I x-rayed, there was nothing. I was, according to Alfred Weber, I was attacked several times with scalar weapons, which one time was so painful that I fainted and really hit my forehead. I was almost hit by a car that really seemed to be aimed at me. I had visits at home where they rearranged my stuff exactly like you described. And I had 2 friends of mine murdered, and I chose to change country. What I'm saying is, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. At the same time, I had a question for you. Who are you? Who are you? Are you laboratory rats? Are you victims? Are you guinea pigs? Are you beautiful human beings that are being put in a very difficult situation? Are you in a situation where maybe this is part of you growing spiritually? I'm asking myself the same, because I had no reason to choose the position I am in. It's only a week ago that I was threatened, had a death threat about going to Norway. I was almost arrested there last time. I'm not trying to polish my own glory, absolutely not. What I'm saying is, I refuse to live in fear. I refuse to live in fear. I do not feel well when I'm fearful. And I spread crap to other people. I spread very negative things. I spread anxiety. I spread fear to other people, which is not my intention. So I try to very much focus to stay in what I call love, a high frequency. In whatever situation, however scary it is, I try to focus on that because it works for me. That's the only thing I can say. And I refuse to let some cowards hiding behind scalar weapons or computer or remote crap or whatever it is they're doing, I refuse to let them control my life, at least how I live. I don't want to live in fear. And I would say, at least in my head, I had a choice. It's like I see my thoughts come. I mean, my thoughts can be whatever. It can be really horrible thoughts, it can be really beautiful thoughts. I just see them as thoughts. It's almost like things coming like this, but then it's up to me which one do I choose to give power. The good ones or the bad ones. I would say in every single second of my life, your life, we always have the option, love or fear, right or wrong, whatever it is. I can look out here, I can look at monsters, if I would choose to. I can look at absolute stunning human beings. The choice is mine. I can be scared of you, or I can love you. The choice is mine. I can see a police officer and get really scared. I can see a police officer and say, hi, whoa. I had this nice email saying that if I come to Germany, I would be arrested there as well. Why? It's ridiculous, only because I raise questions. I come in love, compassion, forgiveness. They want to crush me. So, I had a choice. Live in fear or not live in fear. Spread fear or not spread fear. What I hear here, with these fantastic lectures, I mean, I've learned so much. At the same time, what I hear in between the lines is that we're screwed. I mean, there's no way, you cannot hide anywhere. You cannot go anywhere where they cannot control you. You cannot go anywhere where they cannot see you. I just want to say, there is a choice there as well. If, for instance, just as an option, if every time I lifted a cup of coffee and somebody banged the door or the wall, I would say, if that happened 2-3 times, I would say, oh my God, somebody's on that side of the wall has got the most boring job ever. My God. So why not bring out 2 cups and maybe see if we can make him play the bossa nova? You know, like, or just fake it or something like that. At least let him enjoy his life, because, I mean, can you imagine? He's coming to the table. Stand by. Stand by 2. He's lifting the coffee. No, no, no! Oh. No, he was only faking. It was tea. I'm sorry, so just do half. The choice is yours. You can go into freak mode, or you can not. Fear or not. Love or fear. I know that it's scary as hell to be under surveillance. So people say, do you use encrypted emails? Absolutely not. Do you try to hide? Do you not tell where you are? Absolutely not. I say, I am here. If you want to come and get me, I'm here. Because I refuse to live in fear. I do not want to live in fear. I hate that feeling. I hate hate. I don't want to have it in my body. I hate fear, the feeling of anxiety, paranoia, these type of things. And by the way, I have been informed by an MI6 agent the real meaning of the word paranoia. And do you know what that is? It's not what we've been told. According to him at least, and I think he should know what he's talking about, he says paranoia is the description of someone with the talent or the capability of connecting dots that no other people see. The ability to connect them, the dot, dum, 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 dum. That is the real term for paranoia. They turn it around and use it against us. So I would like to suggest, according to some native Indians or some native tribes, they say at this time in history, the strongest of the souls have come to this earth to go through these very, very challenging times. Are you here to live as wimps, or are you among these very, very powerful souls that are here now? I'm paying for this so-called tour. This is the last of 15 days of my life. I would so much like to be at home, enjoy my family and myself, not being scared to be picked up by police or coming to airports not knowing who's expecting me. At the same time, I'm here with you, which is an absolute honor. And I would like to say that in so-called normal, among normal citizens, like when I came to Malmö, there were 16 people there. I paid for the rent of the room. I'm fine with that. Not rich, but I'm fine. Whoever was there, I hope I reached them. To hopefully, whatever the circumstances, make them feel or at least see that there is a choice in every situation. To see your brother as a monster in a uniform, with or without, or in a lab coat, or as a brother or sister. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. I have one little technique that I would like to share with you that at least works for me. I don't know. I mean, I have, through dear Kevin over here, been part of exposing 2 of modern time's worst serial killers. I've been stopping at least one false flag massacre, messing up the timeline of these so-called dark forces. Not polishing my glory, I'm just saying that one person can make a difference, and they do not like me. I like me. They do not. I'm a pain in their butts, which I will continue to do. Totally non-violent, but totally not backing off. So, there's a man that I really, really admire. He used to walk around in what looked like diapers with a stick. No title, no funding, no power position. His name was Mahatma Gandhi. And he said, at times when I despair, I keep reminding myself that dictators come and go. For a while they look invincible, and then they fall most of the time on their own. They destroy from within. Now we are in an upgraded, high-tech digital version of somebody that seems totally invincible. It's the circle of evolution, I don't know. But I feel that we are at a time where in every situation it is almost like we can choose to be victims, or we can choose to see it as a possible to evolve, especially on a soul level. We are also in a situation where we, the billions, have allowed in the thousands, to apparently control us. And how we've been able to let them get away with what they're getting away with is, for me, incredible. I mean, how asleep have we been? And because we've been that asleep, we are in this situation. So they say, like, if you point accusingly at someone, that's one finger pointing there, three fingers pointing this way. So it's time to wake up, take back the power by letting go of the fear. Let go of the fear. Whatever happens, whatever they push or throw at you, see if you can let go of the fears. Because at least it will let you feel better while it's happening. At least it does it for me. It makes me keep the balance, and then when I'm in balance, then I can make a choice. Instead of just reacting out of fear, wait, breathe, and then you take the decision. And I just want to end with one little technique that really has helped me a lot. When somebody approaches me, often in a uniform, if there's a weapon involved or something like that in my world, shit's scary. I do not like that. At the same time, there is an option. Either I see a monster in front of me, maybe he's screaming at me, trying to push me into disobedience, bend over, that's what they want, head down in the mud. But the choice is in here, in my world. So what I try to do is keep my mind focused on love, the high frequency, And the way I try to do it, because in a situation like that, especially if I get surprised, it's very easy that my mind just goes into freak out mode, and then the chances of me getting hurt, other people getting hurt, for me to react in a way that the whole thing will end in chaos or violence or something is big. So what I try to do, I'm not a religious person, but the word that works for me is divine. I look at this screaming face, I turn down the volume inside my head, so I can't hear his voice, or her, I mean they're female so-called monsters as well, and then keep repeating the word divine, divine. I look in his face and I just see somebody who do not know what they're doing. These people have been duped and compartmentalized and all mind controlled to think that I'm the enemy. I am their enemy, not in my world. So I try to keep on track. Divine, divine, divine. He's somebody's father, he's somebody's son, he's somebody's brother. Divine, divine, divine. And if I can keep that focus in a higher frequency, I tell you, magic happens. At least up until this point. Maybe I'm dead tomorrow, but up until now it's work. Something breaks the spell. This awful, threatening situation somehow changes. And very often, just a few minutes down the line, this monster is suddenly standing there talking about how his wife doesn't understand that he wants bulletproof underpants on in bed, or whatever it is. Suddenly they become helpful. These people, like when I was once again able to to, through Kevin's program here, predict the Copenhagen shooting 1 month before it happened. I went there right while that whole thing was still going on. I announced it, so they were waiting for us. They were there with machine guns, all of these things. Not comfortable, not comfortable. At the same time, when they approached, divine, 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 something happens. And what happened was that suddenly the captain, who saw me as the enemy, got very confused because I did not bend over. I did not be aggressive. I did not try and hit back or anything like that. I just focused my mind on love. What happened was, for a little while, he was the one getting nervous. And then 2 minutes later, he offered me his business card saying, please, if you need any help, here's my private number. I'll be most happy to accompany you. It is the secret of the universe, I think. And I think that people like Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, these people were like, I see them as super hackers. They cracked the code of the matrix. And that is that whatever problem you are being met with, meet it with a higher frequency. You can do laboratory tests where you have low frequencies, very low, very high frequencies. And what happens is not that the 2 frequencies start fighting in the middle and it comes out like a middle thing. The lower one gets a nod. Boom! It just disappears. And the lowest in the frequency of the universe we're talking about is pure terror. The highest is what is called love. I'm not talking about I fancy you, baby, that type of in love. I'm talking about the love, the power of love that can make a mother lift the car off her child in a car accident and so on. So, just like when you go into a very dark room, the darkness is there, it looks really scary. You switch on it like, boom, the darkness is gone. It's not that the shadows are holding on, so I'm not leaving, and fighting. They're just gone. And I would suggest that what Jesus said was like, whatever the problem is, meet it with a higher frequency. And while you're at it, why not meet it with love? Just like when he was on the cross saying, listen, these people do not know what they're doing. They're messing it up for themselves. Forgive them. They do not know what they do. Whatever the problem is in my world, love is the answer. Love is the answer. And now I will